Hey everybody, we are live with Friday Connect. We do this every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, as we have people trickle in, I'm going to go over some housekeeping rules. So, basically, like I said, we do this every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a free real estate training for all real estate agents. And we talk about real estate marketing. We bring in industry leaders and talk about production, everything to grow your real estate business. So, if you haven't done that, we'll start putting some links in. You can join our Facebook group. We post all kinds of things. We'll repost the replay video. All of these videos will be on our YouTube channel as well. So you want to make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, that you're following us, and join our Facebook group as well. And we have tons of things on our Friday Connect website as well. There are some marketing resources that you can go check out, both free and paid, for everything you need to grow your real estate business. And then we are also, with Armilla and I, we are EXP agents as well. And if you're looking to join our group and get those resources for free as well, you can click the partner with us button and book a call. Again, my name is Jacob Sharman. I am a marketer with over 15 years of experience in web design and SEO. I'm also the co-founder of Mift Media and Karuvi Social with Armilla, my business partner as well. Which Mift Media is a full service marketing agency specializing in real estate marketing as well. And then there's Karuvi Social, which is a social media content platform that basically gives you all the social media content that you need on a daily basis and the strategy involved, and basically to help you put your social media content on autopilot and take the guesswork out of what to post. And today we're going to be talking about how to generate online leads and how to automate that, and how do we find the right source to do that. And so basically, Darmilla is going to be helping us with that training today and talking about the different ways that we can do this strategically, because a lot of people try it, then they give up, and it's because they didn't have the right plan in place. So we're going to talk about today, and she is the best person to talk about for that, especially with her marketing experience. She has been in marketing for over 11 years, and especially have done a lot of things for the city of Toronto and Mississauga and managing their social media and marketing plans. And so she is a true professional in the marketing industry. And so we are going to be asking her questions today. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm looking forward to it. I think this is one of those trainings that I think this is going to put a lot of these thought process that a lot of agents have about, should I do this kind of ads or should I do this kind of ads? I think it'll put validations to some of your thoughts, and it'll allow you to really build a business that's going to have a momentum. And I can't wait to share a lot of information with you here.
Yeah. So let's just jump right in. And for those who don't know, what is online generation?
Yeah, in particularly today we're going to talk about automating that process. But I that's a great question. So, what is online lead generation? It's the process of generating consumer interest, or people that are kind of interested in your product, or get them to interested in your services and convert them into a lead. And usually, it's to do with collecting a visitor's information, most likely from some sort of a website. It can be ads, and it's really about. And then this training is about automating that so that you don't have to sit in front of the computer, having to or cold call or door knock. You could do this while the beautiful part is closing those deals, meeting those clients, booking those calls while having this kind of running for you and building your database for you. So that's what online lead generation is about, but particularly automating that process.
Exactly. And you kind of just mentioned it, but why should people be leveraging online lead generation? What are the benefits of that?
Yeah, wow. Really good question. This is one shoe doesn't fit everybody. And that's why I love this topic, because I truly believe this is going to hit a lot of you in a different way. Ultimately, folks, doing online lead generation I know it's one of those things. It's kind of like, is it working for me or is it not? You see a lot of people doing it and they're making a lot of money. There's some of the best number one agents in each of our countries only and solely do online lead generation. It's not funny. So it is possible, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. Area, how much money do you put into it, when you run the ads, where you're running the ads. I get it can be overwhelming. First and foremost, couple of things about understanding why you should do online generation. Is it the right thing, a tactic, or a strategy for you? Is, first of all, to save time, right? And it will eventually save you a ton of cost in the end, but you do need some sort of a budget to start off with. And if you have something, it could work. But remember, folks, with anything in life, any marketing tactics, trust me, I've been working in marketing field for over a decade, and everything works. but it's really about the consistency. I know you probably hit that C word 1,000 times once becoming a realtor, but it truly is that, right? Like kind of like going to the gym, right? Kind of like eating healthy. So showing up for your business constantly. And what's so unique about online lead generation is that you need to do it for a period of time so that it gives you insights. What's working is Facebook ads better than Google ads for you. And trust me, they both work. I'm doing both of them and they both work. I have agents that are closing deals with both of them. So, but it depends on the area, what kind of content, what, you want to test out different images, different copy. And I get it. It can be overwhelming if you're not a realtor. If you're a realtor, but if you're not a digital marketer, if you don't have that kind of an experience, it can be overwhelming. And so for me, I knew this was the right thing for me because I'm kind of like Jacob, right? I have multiple businesses. I work with Jacob very closely with our marketing company, with Karuvi Social. We help a lot of agents on a weekly basis, but I have my rental portfolio. I have my own things going on, a lot of different priorities. And I'm also a mom of two little children. So we're busy, and so might you be. But at the same time, I love doing real estate. I also like showing properties. I also like writing offers, and I like closing deals and getting those big chunks of money. And if you're that person, or if you feel like you have multiple priorities, you don't have to be a parent, or you don't have to have multiple businesses, but you feel like you want to have a continuous process of, again, getting leads, because that's the thing about our business, right? You want to keep in mind is that how do you continue to bring in leads and convert them while closing the deals? Remember, you can have all the clients you want, but there's only a handful that are getting close on that transaction, right? So there are times I've worked with 8 people, and out of that 8, I only closed one. Is because of market, they weren't qualified, name it, right? Client doesn't really mean, because you could show them property, but they might not be ready, or depending on the process you have. I know there's some agents who are very strict about, if they're not qualified, I don't show properties. But I have a different system than that, right? I work with investors. I work on different things. So you might have different strategy on how you approach your business. So if you fall within those category and you find that I want a continuous, and it doesn't have to be a lot, it could be very little amount, it could be 25 leads a month. And remember, it is all a numbers game. And to me, when I even, I use lots of different sources. I've probably purchased hundreds of ads on a yearly basis when I worked for the government and for not for profit. Again, my corporate space, and 9 to 5, coming to this entrepreneurial state, and and working with agents and doing this stuff in real estate. My biggest thing is, although I'm an expert at marketing and a lot of other things, even in this space, I have other people doing it for me who know exactly what they're doing. I know how to vet them, first of all, right? Because I've done it so many times. I know who's not going to scam my money. There are all these big names that I'm hearing. I had one of my agents tell me last week, hey, they're really good with leads. And I said, no, they actually scammed my other agent of $15,000. So it really depends on that testimonials review. So be really careful about who you choose. And I'll get into that in the next, in the next part of talking about how to choose the right sources. But there are tons of, to wrap this question up, there's a ton of benefit when it comes to online lead generation. For me, it's that continuous basis, really, primarily. And because I don't want to spend time in the first stage of generating leads. And unfortunately, folks, and fortunately, you probably heard this, we don't have a lead generation problem. We all know somebody. We really have a follow-up problem, right? So focus more on converting the people you already know, or try to get more people in if you don't know them, or if you've exhausted that list of sphere, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you pointed out one really good thing too is this is a 24/7 lead generation tool. Especially in the world we live in, so many different career fields, there's a lot of people that are night owls. If they're a nurse, a lot of time they're on the night shift. So that's when they're looking and have not much to do. So if you have something that's constantly generating leads for you 24/7 while you're sleeping, but other people are up, you have to think about that, so that way, like she said, it's a numbers game and you have access to these people because this is the only way to do it. And it's, again, a 24/7 lead tool. And then the consistency thing is, it's just like, going, like you said, going to the gym, you don't see the results right away. It takes months and sometimes the year to see that full transformation. So it's the same thing with real estate. So I'm glad you brought that out. So let's talk about choosing the right source. You and I talk about this a lot. We get miffed about this a lot. People either choose the wrong source, they don't stick with it long, or they choose the wrong company to help them, that's so-called experts. So why don't you talk about some how do they find the right source and some strategies with that?
Absolutely. First of all, again, you found out you're the right person for this, right? That's why we're leading into this conversation is you come to an understanding that, hey, I don't know this stuff. I don't know how to measure. Sometimes you don't even know how much money to put into an ad. You don't know what images work, what copy works, the text that accompany that image. You don't know what numbers, what CPT, what click through rate means, what clicks to translating into lead mean, and you have no idea. Jacob and I run a marketing agency. We worked with hundreds of agents, and so many agents, they'll run an ad for a week and they'll be like, guys, you're not doing a good job, I'm not getting leads. And I'm like, give it time, folks, your budget is this much dollars, right? And we have to paint that picture for them up front, is that you can have very little money work for you, but it's really about a lot of different factors. Again, area, time, I could go on forever, but you wouldn't know what's going to work for you, because Jacob and I, you won't believe this, him and I ran exact same ads. We're doing the exact same thing, completely different number of leads coming in. Promise you this. Completely different. But that doesn't mean I might not have similar conversion rate as him. Again, it really depends on where you are, who you are as an average agent, right? Like on an average, if you're looking at numbers too, every 100 leads, you should be able to close one deal. I know 100 leads, because they're just, again, people that may be interested in what you got to offer, but you got to get to build that relationship, right? So some of the sources you want to look for is, first of all, do they have a variety? I'm going to do a shameless plug right here early on, is that Jacob and I, this is what we do. So if you need help with this, let us know. If you're already working with a company and you're feeling iffy about it, always stop and just analyze these kind of questions. Like I said, I've purchased hundreds of ads, and it's everyone and their mom right now and their brother is a marketing expert, right? You can buy ads from everybody. I don't know about you, but I get DMs daily. I get phone calls daily from somebody wanting to optimize my social media, my YouTube. And so be careful, right? Be careful. Don't fall into the trap. I get my own agents who trust and value our opinion, who email us and saying, hey, what do you think of this company? And I tell them, hold on a second, stop looking at every email, because they're all sales email, just like what we're doing right here, right? So how do you vet these companies? First of all, you want to look for, obviously, reputable. What does that even mean, reputable, right? I like people that are connected to our larger companies, which is why I love using Making It Rain. Is connected to my brokerage. My brokerage pays me every month. They're very real. I have agents that I have through that. I know the employees. I go to the events. They're real company. First of all, they exist. I know them. I've seen the people, right? So that's something that is very important. When somebody talks to you on the phone, try to get them in front of you. Ask them questions about their process, them about how much money of my ads are going towards the ads versus paying you, and ask them for testimonials. And when you get testimonials, I'll give you a quick trick. Very similar. I'm having my landlord hat on when I'm doing this. Is that when that tenant sends you that employment letter, I call the employer up to make sure that they're on their employment list. So very similar. You call up a review and say, because I can make Jacob write all the thousands of reviews for me, but he's biased. He's a very close friend of mine. He's my business partner. Of course, he knows all my strengths, right? So you want to go to the review and the people that write the review and say, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about the results you're getting? Completely different game changer, right? So I went to the agents who used Making It Rain and different ISAs and different things, and I know that it works. Similar, that's the kind of due diligence that I do when I worked for the government, right? I minimum, it's actually a corporate policy, we have to do minimum 3 quotes before we choose one, because it's taxpayers money. People can come and say, why did you choose this one versus the other, right? So keep same rules apply when you're spending your money, whether it's for a corporation or whether it's for your business. Protect your money. So qualify people. Ask them, how long does it take you to process all of this? When quickly can I go up line? What areas can I market? What areas isn't good? Ask them to advise you, and ask them, are you going to manage my ads for me? Very different than them putting up an ad versus managing your ads. And how many areas can I manage? And then looking at strategies of how they run the ad too, right? Again, I'm in that space, so I can question these things, and I know, and for you, you might not. But you know how you know that? By asking a ton of questions. So don't think they're giving you, because sometimes I've sat with companies and they poured my ears out about certain things, and I'm just sitting there smiling, because I know that that isn't the truth, or that I know that there is far more than that, because what they're telling me is what Facebook tells all of us, right? But there's far more information, because right now I'm running an ad on Google Ads right now. I'm getting maybe 3, 4, 6 leads a month, very minimal ad spend. And the reason I'm doing that is testing to see what's working, and it's working. My click-through rate makes sense. My ad spend makes sense for the amount of leads I'm getting. And so if I put more money or change certain things, it can go up. And there's lots of variables that go in with that. But I want to initially put in the most little amount of money to check. Because sometimes that's another thing with companies, that they'll tell you a certain amount to put. And you want to question why that is as well. And that, not that it's right or wrong, that isn't that, I'm not saying that they're wrong, but it just, make sure that you're getting those kind of information as well, and ask them. And most importantly, the lead capture they're using, because you want to make sure those leads that you're paying for are coming directly into your CRM, the process. Because I don't know about you, there's lots of companies that sell you leads, but I'll tell you a really sad story. They're selling you that same list of leads. They're selling me, Jacob, and everybody else who's going to buy from them. So you want to make sure that these leads that you're purchasing, that these ads that you're setting up, you have access to the ad manager, so you can look at the numbers, what is working, you can build the same narrative, and you can hand it over to somebody else if you were to leave that company, as well as getting the leads that you're paying for. I hope that, I know
But
that's a
guys,
lot, but
it is a lot.
yeah.
Plus, there's so many platforms too. I mean, there's Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I mean, you have to find the platform that works for you and make sure that company is an expert in that platform, because every platform has a different criteria and a different way to optimize the ads, to obviously manage the ads. And I will tell you, little tidbit too, is that when you see very cheap pricing for managing ads, that's usually a red flag that they're not managing your ads. They might do a great job putting up, but they're going to do a set it and forget it. And you do need to be able to do some testing, some A/B testing to see which ad graphic works better, because some people are drawn to more different things. So make sure that you are doing your research in the company. And if they're charging too much, that's another red flag too, because a majority of people, about 60 to 70% of what they're paying is going to the company, and a very small amount to ad spend. That's
And
sad.
guys, I've seen this happen. One of my agent got burned by thousands of dollars, and you can feel like you trust them. Like, for example, I'm sitting here, and some of you actually know me. I recognize some of your names, and you might actually partner with me and purchase with me because you know me, right? But this person actually knew the agent to an extent because they saw their YouTube videos, whatever, and purchased with them, and lost. I think they just wrote up a contract for $15,000 or $20,000, and ended up paying about, you know, $10,000 or $15,000 up front, and then only was able to get back so little when they broke off that relationship and had to, break the contract. You do not need to pay anybody that hasn't done any business for you. Okay? It doesn't work like that. What does Facebook do when you run your own native ads through your own platform? They bill you after the ads have ran, right? So very similar. Wait for people to do the job. However, some companies, I get it. My VAs and some of the people that are working for me, I pay them up front for a certain amount because they have to pay their team, and because I have a whole team that helps me with YouTube and stuff. So I get it, but remember, make sure it's very clearly stated in the contract that you're signing. Read the fine print, protect your business, and that 50%, if you were to give, what is that 50% that I'm paying for, and when is the 50% due? And if you don't if I don't get this result, then this money won't be coming to you. And have those kind of clear conversation, and don't be embarrassed or shy to ask those things, because the moment you opt into things like that, then you lose control. And a lot of what you're going to do is online, right, folks? Like, you're not going to see and sit with somebody and write and sign where you're actually taking a product with you. These are services that aren't tangible. So you need to, to simply put it, don't pay upfront all of it. And the reason why a lot of what I'm saying feels like a lot, but they're simple things. If you really think about it, with any purchase, you wouldn't just walk into a store and just grab a dress and walk out. You're going to try it on. You're going to feel the material. You're going to look at the price, right? You're going to go walk into a store that is reputable, right? Not to some just random shed that is put in front of somebody's house. Unless if you do, then you're going to go with a certain amount of cash that's applicable for that, right? That yard sale, right? Everything has to make sense. And if it doesn't, then question it.
So why don't you go into some recommendations of companies and resources that are out there for online lead generation?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, before I jump into talking about different companies and different resources and things like that, one thing that I wanted to also mention too is reporting, folks. Make sure in your contract and your relationship, you're asking them for regular reporting, just like you would for your listings, right? You report your seller about how it's going, how many showings you're getting. Same things. They better be reporting you of how the ads are doing. And but don't get your back up if it's not doing well. That's part of marketing. That's part of lead generation. It's part of your space, your market, and you just have to give it time to make it work. So I will mention that, especially as realtors, we are so quick to make a decision about what's working and what isn't. So some of the companies, for me, I'm going to talk specifically today about making a rain in particular. That is a lead generation services that is provided by EXP Realty. There's a lot of companies that do this, and what I love is that they have their own full-time staff that are trained, that are marketing experts, that are actually doing this for you. And what's so great is that they even give you a knowledge base with copy of how to follow up, because like I said, lead generation is the easy part. This is the first step, right? The hard part is building the relationship, closing that deal, making them actually say yes to you to show them a property, and then maintaining that relationship and putting in that offer, and then the whole other shebang of actually closing the deal, right? Jacob and I know about a recent run in about to the 11th hour, right? And even after closing, right? Sometimes. So unfortunately, hopefully you don't go through that. But thinking about again, companies that are doing this but are also helping you with that follow up, right? Giving you script ideas, giving you concepts of, okay, now they're in your database, how do you actually connect with them to convert, and what does that follow-up looks like. And which is why I love making a rain, because they have options of, there's tier levels. First of all, so you can start off with a basic amount of money, so you give, exactly how much you're going to get back, which I also love this program. If you're part of our company, our brokerage, you can actually write reviews and give feedback, and you can actually get discounts. So if you're really tight for cash, it's a great program to do. And the other thing too is that, let's say you're having issues with these ads, or you're not quite seeing the numbers you want to see, or you're just confused about not seeing results, because that's normally the number one question people usually have. You can just email them. You can find them. They're just easily accessible, and ask that conversation, and they'll paint a picture for you of what are elements that make up your ads. And and you can see the numbers, and you can see the reporting on a 24/7. You can see them, and they're running for you. And my huge positive about a resource, and the reason why I'm pushing this and I'm giving you an example, is when you were to find something equivalent to you at your own brokerage, or through a company that you are aware of, you'll notice that they're immediately connected to a CRM. That's what I love about these ads, are that I didn't have to do anything different. They're going to my website, they're connected to my CRM. Very important. I'm in full control of the leads. It doesn't go to anybody else. So that is the number one thing that I will look into. Jacob and I, we do have people on staff that can help you with running ads, setting up your own ads through your CRM. So you don't have to be part of EXP. We even invite agents from outside of EXP to come into these trainings, and people at EXP. So if you are at EXP, and if you're looking for a continuous lead generation source, I highly recommend you look into making a rain. Some of the top agents at EXP are leveraging making a rain, and I've read the tutorials, I've seen them talk about it, and they work. But again, their numbers may differ from you, so keep that in mind. But as you do it, give it a good 6 months to a year minimum, and trust me, in that year you will close a bunch of deals, and it'll change completely. And then it's just a step from there on. And then the other thing that you also want to look at is that you probably hear a lot of things, right? Facebook is one of those things that, somebody's sitting there scrolling, watching TV, and, munching on popcorn, and they see your ad and they'll click. They're not really thinking about real estate. I get it. There might not be an intention, or a prompt that is required right up front for them to kind of capture you. Whereas Google, there's an intention, right? There is actually, they're in front of the computer, they're searching, properties in Toronto, properties in Markham, Ontario. They're looking for, bungalows in such and such area. So they're particularly with an intention, and that real time they've contacted you. And so there's there's conversations, and there's lots of debates about, that's more of a, easier to convert versus Facebook. And it is actually not true. They're both very possible to close deals. We have agents doing both. So it's, again, it really depends on your numbers, how much money you have access to, and what you're comfortable with doing. But most importantly, folks, the reason why we're doing this is to make sure that this training is, again, automating that process, so you have a continuous lead source coming in, everything's connected, and you own them. And make sure the tips of finding the right people, folks, like, you have no idea. Like right now, the reason why, a little side funny note, Jacob and I created Miffed Media, is because we're so pissed off about so many fake gurus and people like Jacob and I. I have degree in marketing, folks. This is our Jacob and I worked in marketing. I wrote hundreds of marketing plans. I'm a teacher. I don't know if you know this. I'm actually a digital marketing instructor for a college. This is what I do. So, and it doesn't matter if I work in real estate, it doesn't matter if I work in aerospace or auto industry, the principles are the principles, right? You don't take what worked for you overnight and you now sell it as a course for everybody else. It doesn't work like that. That's not respectful. That's not ethical, right? Or you have to disclose that information up front. Hey, it worked for me, and if you're open to that, check it out, right? So, you know take this information I've given you and apply it now to your contacts and the people that are, the services that are being offered in your area. But this is such a great concept, right? A great concept, and only one strategy that you can follow in really to truly growing your business as a realtor, especially if you're a part-time agent and you have some cash coming in every month. You can put it in ads, let it run for the next 6 months to a year, because I'll tell you, I have agents who, who worked with us, who've been in the industry for years, who've never closed a deal with certain brokerage. They came to ours, they've done this, and in a couple of months they're already closing deals, and
Right.
they're not even doing any work. But for years they were door knocking, cold calling, but again, never consistent, right? It's about having the right mentorship and the right resources. But yeah, that's where I'll kind of leave you. But one of the things, I know we'll get into kind of contacts and stuff, but Jacob, yeah, go ahead. I'll give it back to you. But if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, just one thing too. One thing that's great about making it rain is maybe you have the small budget and you just don't have it right this week. The best thing about making it rain is you don't pay till the end of the cycle. So
Yes.
once you create your profile, your plan, you're billed 30 days later, you're sent an invoice and you have 10 days to pay it. So it for those of you with a really tight budget, in a few weeks you're going to have money, maybe you have a job and you have that paycheck coming in that you can pay that bill then. It's great because it's just like with Facebook ads, you don't pay until people are coming to your ads. So I wanted to keep that because there are people out there that, real estate's expensive and we got to make our money work for us where we can. So, okay, so let's talk about this because you and I talk about this all the time. A lot of people don't have a lead generation problem, like you said earlier. It's either they have a problem with capturing leads for one, or they just don't nurture them properly. And so let's talk about some strategies on how once you get them into your database, what are some great ways and strategies to convert them as we wrap this up?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, folks, is when you're doing that, this is one caveat with online lead generation, is that you want to have a solid follow-up plan. And if you are somebody who has again, full-time job and you're too busy, like actually a very busy person like me, then you might want to hire somebody like a VA, ISA, the fraction of the price. If you want to contact for that, Jacob, you can put a link to a company that we recommend, that we use. They're an online um, VA company, the $3 minimum, a dollar an hour that you can pay for a VA, and they can do their ISAs or inside sales agents. This is what they do. They're actually meant to call and convert real estate leads. So you can look into those. They're usually based in the Philippines or Brazil or things like that, of that nature. But my biggest recommendation for conversion, folks, is it's all about relationship, right? But immediacy. So these leads are all time sensitive. So what that means is some of these companies that actually, ISA companies, not even VA, but like inside sales agent companies that do this for a living, they don't even take in old leads because they know it's not worth it for them, because they probably already purchased already, especially if they've been in your database over 45 to 60 days, they kind of don't even touch it. So any leads that are most likely easy to convert are within 5 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, but within the 5 to 7 minutes, you need to call them immediately and try to have a script in place, a really good script, and try to have those conversations, convert them. So my recommendation for you is have a really solid follow-up plan, and some that are automated, of course. Always have a drip plan, a drip campaign in place, like a smart campaign. So if you have KV Core, you know what I'm talking about, or so, or Follow-Up Boss or something like that, that have really solid um, a drip campaign that is working for you. But at the same time, you are also you it doesn't matter if they're automated lead gen versus, you'd still have to pick up the phone call, because guess what, you got to see these people in person. We're in real estate, folks, right?
Right.
And you need to start doing that. So that's one of those things that is so important. And I recommend also making sure, people are so iffy about this, and there's debates on this, and I have it my own way, because some of the stuff that Josh, my husband, and we do is we work with people to purchase properties and joint venture. So I want their phone number up front because I have to do credit check on them. I do, police check and all this stuff, right? Because we're literally joint venturing with them to purchase properties. But so I need that information up front anyway. But maybe not you up front. So think about it. If you go into the back end of your website, that's going to do the lead capture. That's what Jacob talked about. Make sure that lead capture is another issue that people have, is that are you accurately capturing the right information, and are you capturing it directly into your CRM? Because that's another waste of time, right? Think about your full process. And that's what we kind of geek out on, because Jacob and I are big on, process and systems, and,
Yeah.
not wasting times. So one of my recommendation for you is make sure you go into the back of your website and make sure that when that prompt to capture that lead, maybe you take off their phone number, because some people might not want to give you the phone number. Maybe an email address works. Maybe you want both. And sometimes people might shy away from like just exiting and going to another browser because they don't want to give that information up front. And some people are very adamant about it. If they don't give me the phone number, then what's the point? Because I can't call them. Because even if you don't get that phone number, you can still email them. You still have a drip campaign and process that is immediately that can start. Where in the event that, you can have a drip campaign that says, make a call, but if they don't have a phone number, because that's what you come in to make that call. But if you don't have a phone number, then a drip that starts, and it goes directly to an email up front. So you can get that. Because to me, it's about getting as many people into my database and not limiting. Because trust me, right now, I'm going back and forth with the lease lead that I actually handed over to one of my agents to deal with. And they were so quick at replying, like too quick that I'm like trying to reply back to them as fast as possible. They gave me all the information I needed up front to pass them on. And you'll be surprised. Some people are phone people, some people are email people, and you don't know. And just don't pigeonhole yourself of, the way that you need to work. Like, let's set up. That's what I'm saying, start with the minimum, start getting leads, start to have some process in place. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then you can, a couple of months later, looking at everything, you can always, edit as you go, as income is coming in, as you see progress, as you see momentum. And I think this is one of the biggest advice I can leave you with, is do not quit early, please, for the sake of your business. Because trust me, it's kind of like that whole concept of one more hit at that mining rock, you would have reached the pot of gold. Same concept. So just one more.
Yeah, and I think a lot of realtors too, because we're for lack of a better word, desperate in this industry because there's so much competition, is that they don't know how to properly analyze and they give up too early. They don't know how to evaluate and go, okay, this is working, but I need to tweak this. They're afraid to spend that time doing that
Or they
and
get
keep
all these leads and they're not even following up, right?
correct. It's so it cracks me up. That's why again, there's not a lead generation problem. Generating leads is probably one of the easiest things to do in the world, but converting your lead, getting them to that next step and out of a client to a deal. I have lots of clients, lots of clients, but deals, they're not as many as the client because everybody wants to go look at houses, but whether they qualify for a mortgage, which is the vein of my existence, is that's a different story, is if their credit's good enough or not. And so you got to be patient with the process. And like she said with the emails, like for me, if I'm spending money and going to hire an ISA, I want their phone number. I'd rather have a higher quality. But if you're not going to call them and you're good at email, you're good at your weekly email newsletter, then don't worry about the phone number. Make it work for you and what your system is. Maybe you don't have money for the ISA right now. You need a deal or two to come in. Well, then make it easier on yourself and then play that numbers game. Get as many emails in that database as possible so you can make it work for you. And that's the one biggest caveat from this whole thing is everybody's market plan are not the same. There's no such thing as a cookie cutter marketing plan. And if you're purchasing that stuff, you're wasting money because I'll give you the best example right now. I could do market home tours in this video of model homes and it will sell houses. It's proven, especially in these areas. If I go to do the same thing in Tharmilla's market in Toronto, there are no model homes. Homes are sold before they even they're even built. And so it's a different strategy. So I can't say do this and it'll work for you because it won't work in that market. But you could still do video, but you have to tweak it for your market, and just be flexible in that is kind of my biggest thing.
Yeah, one of the things that I forgot to mention is when you're talking about different companies and stuff, folks, if you want leads coming in like today, right now, you don't want to hire anybody, go into KV Core, right? Like run a property boost. It's Facebook ads, it works. You can get hundreds of leads. I've closed first handful of my leads through property boost. So if you want to do that, go do that. But the only problem is, again, you got to be good with follow up. And at the time, I had a lot of time because I was on mad leave. So just have those kind of concepts. Do you have the time, the energy to do that? And how do you want this to work out for you, for your business? And or do you have somebody who can do that kind of work for you, and are they trained to do that? And VA companies, if you find the right VA company, we just did a great video last week with one of our contacts at a VA company. He answered all the questions about how to hire the right people. So if you just wanted that anything for your business, not just cold calling or follow-up calls, ISAs, executive assistants, transaction coordinators, name it, social media, anything like that, they're a great company. And he answered a lot of questions about finding the right people, but I just wanted to put that out there as well.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So, and that link is in the chat. So all of it, the Making Rain, the Myth Media. And if you're watching this because you couldn't attend it live and you're watching this on our YouTube channel, all of those links will be in our description as well. And if you have any comments or any questions, or maybe there's something you would love to see us do a training on, we value that input. We want to know what people are looking to hear so we can take our experience or bring in a person in that industry, as we like to do, and bring in guests. And put that in the comments below. You want to stay tuned in 2 weeks too, that we're going to bring on an agent that's going to show you how to evaluate your business. So if you're starting this online lead gen, she's going to give you tips and tricks too on how to evaluate your business and double your production. And so as you do things, those other follow-up and business tools are so important to make even something like this work. And then make sure you're registering every Friday for our events. Like I said, these are free. Invite anybody you want, send a link to them. You just need to register to get your unique link to be able to get into the live feed, and seating is limited. So be able to go register for all the ones that you want to see. And then if you need any resources or any things for marketing to help grow your business, we do have a resource center there. And again, if you want to partner with us and see all of the amazing resources we give, like sales funnels, KV Core training like this, we have the top social media training, content done for you. You get all that for free at no extra cost or split for partnering with us at eXp Realty. So book a call. It's a no pressure call, and we'll show you what your business looks like here at eXp and how we can help you go to the next level. So thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for doing this training with us and sharing your knowledge and what you're actually doing in your own business. I think that's super important. This isn't something that we're just kind of speculating, but this is something we actually do. We both do make it rain, and it's working. I literally
And property
just got,
boost ads and property boost ads. Yeah.
yeah, property boost ads. All of these tools actually work, and we're getting deals and leads. I literally just got another deal, cash buyer, that's moving from, what was it, Edmonton,
Edmonton, Alberta in Canada.
moving to
He's
Houston.
I'm in
Yeah.
Toronto.
Yeah, so such a small world, but it works because he saw my ad browsing late one night, and the ISA called them immediately and converted them. And now they're in my calendar. I'm working with them, and they'll be moving next month. So,
Yeah, I have one
so
from funny enough, Atlanta, Georgia, that came in for my Make It Rain ad. So coming to Toronto.
so weird. You just don't know where people are coming from and what areas you're going to reach them at. And so that's why these targeted ads are so important. And you don't have to make marketing complicated. It really is not complicated. Get one thing, do it well before you move on to the next thing, and you'll be successful. So thank you everybody for coming in and spending this Friday afternoon live with us. We will see you next week. And like I said, if you have any questions, let us know. We'd love to answer those. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Take care.
Bye, guys.